Hey everybody, I've heard from several of you about your quiz for this week, which is about the modest proposal. And so I wanted to just send you a video assuring you this is going to be okay, so don't panic. It's just, I know it's a little more creative than what you were anticipating, so that kind of makes everything a little scary. But it's really, well, first of all, let me just say, I hope none of you freaked out when you read A Modest Proposal because, well, actually, that's what Swift wanted you to do. He wanted you to freak out, or he wanted the people in England who read it to freak out, because he wanted them to see the absurdity of what they were doing and how they were treating people. So that was kind of his point. So I guess if you did, then he still is doing what he was always trying to do. But anyway, once you get past that point, the point is it's so exaggerated that the people would have said, "Oh, that is ridiculous," and he would have been like, "Bingo, you're on it." So that's what you want to do with your modest proposal. And so I was trying to think of something that nobody else would use so I wouldn't steal your topic. And so I thought about the fact I'm an only child. And I heard somebody the other day talking about only children and how they're all spoiled and that sort of thing, which I totally disagree. But, personal experience here. But so I was trying to think about what, if Swift was dealing with that, what might he have written? And so he might have said something like, okay, the problem with only children is that they're spoiled, they get everything they want. They expect to get everything they want, and so, they just grow up that way, and then they become adults like that, and so that's the problem. So, what Swift might have said, and this is totally exaggerated because it's not a real problem. Well, maybe. Anyway, Swift might have said that they need to be spend a certain amount of time. We need to take all only children, and they need to be taken away from their parents, and they need to be put in a family of 10 for 3 years of their lives as they grow up. Maybe their teenage years, I'm not sure. Or he might have said that they need to go live in an orphanage for a certain amount of time, because then they're around a bunch of kids and they understand and appreciate, what life is like more. And so then if I were writing about that, then I would give I would explain that more. I would say, okay, if I said, all right, so they need to be stripped away from their parents, and they need to be put in a family of 10 where both, the income for the entire family is maybe $40,000 a year, $30,000 a year, something like that, where it's just very different maybe from being the only child, even that in that same situation. I don't know. And I might just expound on that and talk about what life would be like for the kid, and what the new parameters would be in their lives, and how, they might have to, when they turn 16, they might have to share a car with 5 other people, and, things that may happen in a typical family, because I know a lot of families with a lot of kids, and you may be one of those families, but just things that would be so absurd as far as doing it just because somebody is an only child, and just because somebody believes that this is the situation. There are all kinds of controversial things right now that I can think of that people have written on. There's things happening in our society right now that really are causing a lot of issues and things. So those are kind of things that you want to think about and that you want to write about. And so it's not really, it's really kind of meant to be fun, and it's really meant to take something that some people may think is a real problem, and to take it and to say, okay, well, if this is really a problem, then we should do this. I've heard where people talked about putting criminals on an island and letting them fight it out. Or if you've ever read the story The Most Dangerous Game, where he hunted people, and that was his kind of thing, which is absurd in itself, but it would be a way to get rid of the bad population, or, you know, if big families were a problem, kind of not picking on big families again, but Swift might have said, now, you know, if having a big family is a problem, then here's what we should do to remedy that. And so you can take something that you may or may not see as a problem, but society kind of looks at it that way, and then you can write your paper looking at it from the most ridiculous, you know, what would make this seem so ridiculous? Because eating babies is very ridiculous. And so the point would be that, you know, in my situation, that I would want the very same person who might say only children are so spoiled and they, you know, need to learn more about what life is really like. And so maybe that same person, then when somebody says, well, okay, we're going to take this, you know, only child away from his or her parents for 10 years, and we're going to put them in a situation where they have to live in a family like yours that's got 8, and you're going to have to take care of this other person, and da-da-da-da-da. And then you want that same person who would talk about how bad the situation was to say, oh, no, you can't take a kid away from their, you know, his or her parents, and just not let them have any contact with them, and make sure that they don't have any, you know, or maybe if you put them in the orphanage, you know, that they don't have the things that they might have had, you know. So you want that kind of reaction when you're writing, but this is really meant to be fun, to help you see that you understand what Swift was doing and the point of satire, which is different from sarcasm. I know I have a lot of sarcasm in my life, but satire is different because it pokes fun at a situation, and so, or points out a situation, makes light of a situation in a more easygoing way. So don't stress out about it. This is my favorite project. I mean, everybody usually does really well on it and ends up having a lot of fun doing it. So if you have any questions, just let me know. We've got plenty of time, and I look forward to reading these. I really do. This is probably the highlight of my term. So I hope you all enjoy the writing process, and let me know if you need anything. Take care.